Anyway, 2 weeks ago, the Carolina Panthers played on a Thursday night, and their star running back, Christian McCaffrey, got injured. And he pulled a hamstring. And I said at the time, I mean, he's had a lot of usage the last few years. Was it because he's been overused? Or is it something else, just a typical injury that can happen to anybody? He actually thinks it may have been or thinks it was due to him playing on a Thursday night. Because remember, right? Look, we talked about it. Seattle just had a big game Sunday against the 49ers. Right. And yet a few days later, they're back on the field, back at it. And so you don't get much of a break when you play on Thursday night. And McCaffrey thinks that is not a good thing. Here he is.
It was extremely frustrating. I don't prefer Thursday night games. You really get 2 days to recover, and then one of those days is a travel day. You hop on a plane, you're in a hotel, and you go out and play in a football game. It's tough, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, and obviously frustrating. I think I'm not alone in this, but I probably argue against them. I can sit up here and complain. I'm not complaining. It is frustrating sometimes when, you feel like something could have been avoided with a little more rest. I'm sure if I got through that game 100%, I wouldn't be saying anything about it. So that's just me and my personal views.
Yeah, there it is. And obviously both teams, of course, played on Sunday, so it's not just Seattle. Both of them playing on a couple of days rest. What's your thoughts on Thursday night games, Rob?
We talked about it. It's not ideal, Chris, but it's the way that they're going to squeeze as much money out of it. Because here's what people don't understand. The difference between having a game on Sunday and like a national game is a bigger payday. When they play those games on Sunday, they're regional games. You can't see every game. If I'm in Detroit, then I'm going to see the Lions game, or if I'm in, that part of the country, right? The Lions are on. And if I'm a little further west, then the Bears are on. And I'm a little further west, then the Vikings are on. So those are all regional. When you do a Thursday or a Monday or Sunday, it's national, and that reaps more money in for the owners and the league because it's an even bigger piece of the pie when it's a national game. All the markets are getting it.
I'm absolutely with you that these games aren't going away, but I'm with McCaffrey on this. It's just shouting into the wind because it's not going to change anything, but he's right. And, Rob, this is yet another example of how I believe when the owners talk about player safety and health, they're full of hot air.
Yeah.
It's disingenuous. Because if you really cared about safety and health, you wouldn't have added a 17th game. And you wouldn't
which was just
have them
greed,
playing.
Which was just greed.
Yeah,
there was nothing wrong with the NFL schedule, Chris. We don't need another game. It's just greed. That's all it is.
No, that's purely what it is. And this is too. You just spelled it out. This is about the loot. This is about the money. But McCaffrey is right. I mean, you play on a Sunday. Monday's pretty much, a travel day rest day. You got 2 days in between essentially to prepare and get ready for another brutal game on Thursday. It just is not fair to these players. I look, as a spectator, I love it. I'm going to be watching the game tonight. I'm going to be hyped about it. So it's great for us. But I would say this, Rob, even as a spectator, we got Monday night, we got Sunday all day, and Sunday night
and then
now.
Sunday night, yep.
And now we got the baseball playoffs, and then you've got NBA about to start. So if they didn't have Thursday night football, Rob, it wouldn't kill the viewers. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know this is a moot point because they're not taking it away. But I'm just saying, for player safety, I just think it'd be better if they didn't play these Thursday games. It just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Rob, what good is it if a player gets injured, a star player gets injured? And this is the thing they got to worry about with the 17 games. What if a star player gets injured and misses the playoffs? And it can happen. It's football. It's a violent sport. It can happen at any time. But You're just increasing the chances. You're giving more opportunities for it to happen when you add a game and when you play on a Thursday night on short rest.
No doubt. I mean, but they don't care. Like, okay, there'll be some everybody can't get hurt, Chris. I'm sure that everybody won't be hurt. Some guys will get hurt, and they'll just have to shake it off. And they would tell you could get hurt in game 1 on the first play. You know, it doesn't have to be Thursday night or week 17. You could get hurt sure. And that's fair. But you're right. More times you put yourself in harm's way, the more chances you have of getting hurt. The league was fine the way it was. I remember when it was 12 games, Chris. You know, like 12 or 14.
I definitely remember 14.
14.
I don't remember when it went from 12 to 14.
And it was different.
Probably early 70s.
Yeah. But it was fine. I mean, football season came and went, and it was great. And, you know, players didn't get it just seemed like guys had longer careers and played through stuff. You know, it just seemed like that.
Well, running backs many running backs did.
Yeah,
many running backs did. There's no doubt about that. I mean, nowadays a running back might be great for 3-4 years and then he fades away. You know, and not everyone, but that a lot of guys, that's the trajectory. But I love the game. I love Sundays when, you know, now obviously with our show with TV, I'm watching every game. I got the Sunday ticket. I got all games on the TVs. I love it. And the more football, the better in my mind. But I do think player safety should be of the utmost importance. And I look, they can say they've made some changes to the rules, which they have, and the game's not quite as violent and physical as it used to be. So I will give them that. But still, it still is what it is. It's a collision sport. And throwing these guys out there on 3 days rest, it just seems insane. It really does. And, you know, it is what it is. And McCaffrey was a casualty, but looks like, Rob, he's going to be able to come back. And he might even play Sunday. So that's good. He's a great player. And, Rob, Carolina, we're going to see. I mean, they had a great win over the Saints. They lost to the Cowboys, but that was without McCaffrey. He really is their offensive engine. So they might be for real. You know, they got the Eagles. They should win that game.
If they
and then
win
they got
that
the Vikings.
one,
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
That's the one. The Eagles, you got to win. That gets you to 4-1, Chris. And then
and the Vikings, and that's a very winnable. Then you got the Giants and Falcons.
Right. There you go. So you're looking at what? So 4-1, 5-1 if you win that Viking game, 6-1. You could be 7-1.
Right.
With a
At
great
worst,
chance.
You're thinking 6-2. If you're legit.
Right. If you're legit, and if they could beat the Vikings. The Vikings are just, I don't know what happened to that team. They used to be a really good defensive team.
I think the Vikings are pretty good, but they just can't seem to catch any breaks. I think the Vikings are the toughest game they have coming up. They got the Eagles, Vikings, Giants, Falcons. So I say the Vikings are their toughest game of those 4. But the Giants, you know, they showed a little life last week, and we'll see if Joe Judge can get them going. All right.